Yeah, I guess let's get right into it. Joe, now, Joe, you've actually, let's do a bit of a background first. Joe, this isn't your first book, right?
That's right. I wrote my first one in early 2021. It was about my autoimmune journey and turning my health around.
Right.
And then from that, I was in a friend's book collaboration, and she put together 24 women from around the world, and we each wrote one chapter. And that was part of kind of how I got the idea to do Absolute Will, which was my first collaboration running it myself, and it was the beginning of the fundraiser that we're still doing. And then I did Absolute Vision as book number 2 in the Absolute series.
Oh, I didn't realize this was book number 2 in a series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had seen.
I've got 2 more on the go already as well in this series, so it's going to be fun, I think, to continue the series because it can just be unlimited themes. So each book has its own theme, and which means that multiple authors can be in each book, just writing different stories and a different kind of twist on their life.
Which is a pretty unique format. Like I found it interesting of, you can read 21 different stories and how these people turn their lives around and I'm sure motivational in one way or another, but from 21 different perspectives, I thought was neat.
Absolutely. And, we as humans, we all have kind of our, normal fears and limiting beliefs and, those kinds of things, but how we deal with them is different. And I just loved having, like you said, the different perspectives. Absolute Vision had 4 men in this one as well. With Absolute Will, my first collaboration, it was all women. So having men's perspective in this, I think, was really cool, and they did a great job. It's hard for everyone to kind of get vulnerable in your chapter and really dig deep into the emotional side of things, and everybody did just such a fantastic job with their chapter. I'm super proud of this book and proud of all of the authors.
And can you, for listeners, kind of, if you were to choose a chapter and maybe recap it a little bit just to just kind of show people and explain what kind of a book or what kind of a story you could expect in Absolute Vision. Would that be okay?
Mm-hmm. It's hard to just choose one. Every single chapter is so different. My chapter is about the fundraiser project that my husband Mike and I are doing. So that one, each story is about creating your own version of an extraordinary life and having a vision to get yourself there, and the trials and tribulations that each of us went through. So for me, it was dealing with it was the vision that I had on how to build a house for a family in Nicaragua, which was our kind of an idea that we had starting around in 2020, but we hadn't really figured out a way to do it. And so my chapter is about the internal struggle that I had with fears and limiting beliefs and my thought process in, getting to the point that I could move forward with fundraising. And each chapter is very different. So one of the ladies that's in our book, actually, she is in a wheelchair. She has several health issues, and her chapter was about being in the Ms. Wheelchair USA competition last year. So each story is very, very different, and yet you'll see similar themes throughout.
Oh, that's very interesting. Oh, I want to read the wheelchair chapter. I didn't know there was a Miss Wheelchair. Oh, and yeah, so your chapter, I know I had read parts of it with the Nicaraguan sorry, I'll get the pronunciation right down in a couple days, but the home that you guys wanted to build, you bought the property, and it sounds like you came back to Canada, without much, with you outside of this property in Nicaragua. That's and now I understand it's being built for a deserving family in need. Can you talk about that aspect of the fundraiser, I guess, attached to selling of the book?
Absolutely. So Mike and I had gone down to Nicaragua several years ago in 2016, and we bought our own vacation property. It was just all jungle at that point. And we've been building our vacation home ever since. And throughout that time, we got to know a family that lived there on Bighorn Island in Nicaragua, and they had nothing. They didn't have a home to live in. So when we came back to Canada, we asked them to house sit for us. And the longer they were in the house and taking care of it as if it was their own, they're just such great people. We decided that, wouldn't it be nice in, an ideal world if we could build them a house someday? And that was kind of our dream, is that it would be a someday plan. And the thing about always thinking of things as someday is that it never really comes to life, right? You have to take action to make your dreams come true. And that was the beginning stages of trying to figure out how to come up with a fundraising idea that could help us build them this house. So we did go back down to Nicaragua in January of 2022, so just a year ago, and we started building this house based on the funds that we had already received from the first collaboration, Absolute Will. And then while we were down there, we started fundraising for Absolute Vision and getting that book going. And yeah, the house now is about 2/3 of the way completed. It's a brick house. It's solid. It's going to be livable at some point this year. So we're very, very excited. The family is just over the moon excited. It's a husband and wife and their 2 daughters. And yeah, it's a real win-win project, which makes us feel like, it's all a worthwhile effort all around.
Oh yeah, that's a beautiful project. And I mean, are you guys essentially going to be neighbors now?
Yeah. Let's do this too.
I would just want to go back a little bit, like doing a little bit of research into Nicaragua and realizing that it is one of the poorest Central American countries. Seeing what these people live in shacks and everything, to just to change somebody's life just makes you feel so good, right?
Right. It's got to be nice to see.
It is, and I mean, we have a great project going on down there. It hasn't been easy, but it's been a dream of mine for many years as well. That's basically what my chapter is about, is building this vacation property and hopefully build it up so we can host some people. And maybe I was a cook for many years, so cooking down under a palm tree is the name of my chapter. So yeah, it's quite emotionally fulfilling to do this for a family, which was our main goal.
Oh, nice. No, this all sounds fantastic, guys. And there's another piece of this. It's the book signing happening in Dryden, I believe, not the weekend in, this weekend, but I believe the next weekend, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's Saturday, February 11th, 9:30 to 3 p.m. at the Dryden Fairgrounds. So it's part of the Calgary's Craft Market. So we will be there all day. We will have actually all 4 books with us, and including Absolute Vision. And it's kind of neat that, Mike and I are both in Absolute Vision, so we'll both be there for the signing. And this book, too, is, I just want to kind of reiterate that, we hit 57 number 1 spots with this book. So I think there's actually a lot of people that are pretty excited to come down and have a chat with us and get to see the book in person. And we're really looking forward to seeing people at the market.
Yeah, that huge bestseller on Amazon already. It's got to be good to see.
Yeah, we're really excited. And so many of our authors are new. They've never published anything before. So what a way to debut, right?